Arguably, one of the most iconic parts of Halo is the Spartan helmets. Seeing as it's on the cover of almost every game in the series, it's clear the Mjolnir armor is one of the most important ingredients to a successful Halo game. Up until 2015, Bungie and 343 more or less followed the rule of quality over quantity. But to make the new rec packs worthwhile, Halo 5 included a whopping 99 helmets, 9 times the amount of Halo 3, and that's not even including the helmet variants. Because of this, it's safe to say some of the helmets were received better than others. But what if some of these helmets were to return in Halo Infinite? What would they look like? It's time to redesign Halo. Happy holidays everyone, Redesign here. Hope you're all having a fantastic December playing Halo Infinite's campaign non-stop. We're back with another episode of Redesigning Halo, and a highly requested one at that. I'll be redesigning some of Halo 5's helmets to fit the art style of Halo Infinite. But to be clear, I'm far from the first person to redesign Halo 5's helmets. I recommend you check out the works of Mr. Macho on YouTube, Matt Griffith and Omega Ridley on Reddit, and Corvin Stitchard on ArtStation, just to name a few. All of these designs are great, so go give them some love. And as always, I mean no disrespect to the original artist of these designs. This is simply my take on the helmets. So grab your hot chocolate, cozy up by the fire, and let's redesign some helmets. But real quick before we begin, I have finally set up a Patreon. So click the link in the description to find out how you can be a part of my redesign process. Or wait till the end of the video for more information. That being said, let's begin. The Reaper helmet is a perfect example of a design which has all the ingredients for a beautiful helmet, but ultimately stumbles at the finish line. The distinct visor and the asymmetrical protrusion at the top is unfortunately brought down by the gigantic complex bottom area, coupled with a strangely smooth top middle piece. So my goal with this redesign is to give it more of a consistent aesthetic, and also tone down the bottom part. And here's my redesign. Like I said, the original was genuinely close to perfect, and with a few tweaks, I think it lives up to its full potential. First thing I did was to bring down the visor, which gave it more of that conventional Spartan look. The visor was recreated quite faithfully, but I made sure to make it fit with the rest of the visors from Halo Infinite, giving it more of a subtle look. I then moved on to simplifying the lower half of the helmet, even going as far as to erasing some of the jaw, to make it more compact and mobile. And after a few minor changes, I finished it off with a more angular forehead piece. The Reaper was already quite an interesting helmet, with its offset forehead piece and its simple visor. But hopefully, this redesign just enhances the look the original was going for. Let me know what you think of this redesign. Among Halo 5's many helmets with circular eyes, we find possibly the most interesting one. The Engineer, aside from its more insectoid eyes, it's actually one of the more simple designs from Halo 5. The top part is clean and has this interesting textured area. The earpieces on the sides add excitement to the overall silhouette, and the bottom area is really nicely framed. Overall, a solid helmet. But to make it fit not only Halo Infinite's art style, but its armor customization system, a few changes had to be made. And this is my redesign. I know, the visor. We'll get to that. Right from the get-go, I noticed the Engineer had something resembling pipes along the bottom, and I saw a golden opportunity to make something bold and unique. So I made them much thicker and had them be the frame instead, resulting in a more round silhouette. I also thought the colors were a bit too messy on the mouthpiece, so I followed the design language of some of Halo Infinite's helmets and made the majority of it black. And to go along nicely with it, the top part was darkened a bit. Now the elephant in the room, the visor. Seeing as Infinite's customization allows for more helmet customization than ever, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to make the googly eyes optional. Selecting the QTA visor attachment and the LW210 assessment locator gives you the classic, terrifying engineer look. The engineer, while being a great helmet to begin with, has now opened up more possibilities than ever for its customization. Let me know what you think about this redesign. FOEHAMMER is a very bold helmet. Everything from the visor to the pieces on the side are exaggerated, which really sets it apart from the other helmets. While I find it interesting, personally I think it's too tall and too bold for its own good. So my goal here was to shrink it down and make it less out there, while still keeping the necessary ingredients. And here's the redesign. Just like the Reaper, I gave it a more conventional Spartan appearance, to make it more or less follow the same design language as the others. I did this by toning down the silhouette, since I thought it gave the helmet an unstable look, and instead, I tried to pull attention away from the bottom right and left, and divert it towards the middle. Areas such as the bottom right and left, as well as the top, were turned into vents of some kind, just because I felt their original purpose was diminished after my rework. And finally, the visor saw quite a big overhaul, ditching the somber and nervous look of the original for a more classic style of visor. The lines were also changed to be more subdued, since the visor didn't have much room for detail. The FOEHAMMER redesign manages to keep the defining characteristics of its source material, but does so in a more subtle fashion. Let me know what you think about this redesign. When it comes to the helmets of Halo 5, one key feature that unites them is their unique appearance. And Viper is no different. This unusually round design goes for an organic yet robotic aesthetic. The mouth area has these mandible-like pieces, and the asymmetrical eye and helmet attachment gives it a truly unique look. For this redesign, I knew I had to blockify the silhouette, as well as making the organic parts look more factory produced. So here's my redesign. While this is one of the more tame redesigns, I tried my best at eliminating the most crazy looking parts of the original. I introduced an eyeliner to not only make the visor pop, but to more importantly, cover up the holes at the bottom of the visor. As for the visor, since I lost the hexagonal texture, I gave it a visor line to make sure it wasn't too empty. And seeing as it's a huge part of the original design, I kept the eye mostly the same, just placing it a little closer towards the middle. The mandibles, as well as the sides, were given a more angular look, to make it fit with the rest of Infinite's helmets. And finally, if you wish to look a little more badass, you can equip the VAB attachment, giving you the classic Viper look. While not a huge redesign, the Viper was given a more conventional appearance, with a more blocky frame and simple visor. Let me know what you think about this redesign. Out of all 100 helmets in Halo 5, none have even come close to the cultural impact of the Seeker helmet. The Seeker quickly became the butt of the joke when it came to Halo 5's customization, due to its uncanny resemblance to a coffee machine. But ignoring all the stuff that's already been said about the Seeker, the core issues with this helmet, in my opinion, comes down to the concave visor, the center of interest, or lack thereof, and its overall shape. And here's my redesign. When I started working on the Seeker, I quickly realized this was the most difficult task I had ever tackled. First mission was to fix the ear situation. I felt the sides were way too big, to the point that they dictated the actual shape of the helmet. So to kill two birds with one stone, I brought them down to a more reasonable size, fixing not only the ear problem, but the entire shape of the helmet. I also changed the way the visor was connected to the ears, turning it into a more classic convex shape. And seeing as the rest of the helmet was quite busy, I replaced the complex visor lines with a single one instead. I tried my best at keeping the overall look of the mouth area, but made sure to give it more clear and distinct shapes, instead of the thin and unstable look of the original. And finally, the unusually smooth top part was given more of a Reach look, with a striking black brim. The Seeker redesign, while still out there, is now more easy on the eyes, and has a more balanced design language. Let me know what you think about this redesign. And finally, let's take a look at a helmet that's gathered somewhat of a cult following lately. RECLUSE. Just like many other helmets from Halo 5, RECLUSE decided to skip the visor, giving it a blank and mysterious look. Personally, while I like the angularity of the shapes, this helmet really lacks a center of interest, just something that catches your attention. And here's the redesign. Seeing as the helmet was visorless, I decided to give it the same treatment as the Engineer. The first challenge I faced was deciding on a visor shape. Because of the original's angularity, I knew I wanted to give it a blocky design. And to insert some speed and agility into the helmet, I made it V-shaped, a little reminiscent of the ODST helmet. And since the whole point of this helmet is the covered up visor, I wanted to give the helmet a sense of it being deconstructed, hence the slots left for the visor attachment. And speaking of, equipping the Cyclops attachment gives you the classic RECLUSE look. But to separate the attachment from the base helmet, I made it dark grey, and I added a camera lens to give it more of a focal point. Even though the base look of the RECLUSE differs greatly from the source material, the new attachment, while simplified, gives it the robotic look we all remember. Let me know what you think about this redesign. And there we have it. That's all the redesigns I made for this video. All very much sporting the out there ideas from Halo 5's helmets, but with a more Infinite-esque take on them. Let me know which one is your favorite and your least favorite. I'd love to hear your feedback. And let me know if you want more videos like this. And I want to thank the artists who came up with these original designs. Love them or hate them, they're all works of art, with their own soul and personality. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I now have a Patreon. This means you can be a part of my redesigning process, and have a chance to actually decide on what makes it into these videos. This also includes Discord benefits, such as badges and private channels where you and I can discuss Halo stuff, or just talk about anything. I'll also include your name at the end of all my videos. If this sounds interesting to you, then check out the link in the description. But of course, you watching these videos is more than enough for me. This is just for those who have a few dollars laying around. Patreon or not, I appreciate you either way. And if you have any further questions about my Patreon, then just ask me, and I'll try my best to answer you. If you like this video, give it a like. If not, a dislike. and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I wish you all the best, and take care. Redesign, out.